Good morning and welcome to the latest episode of More Than Just Task Management, your favorite daily podcast where we help you build a thriving business with me, Anna Angelova, business coach and consultant, and my fellow business consultant and fellow host of this podcast, daily podcast, Jores Minusvand. Morning, Jores.
Good morning, Anna. Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday.
Wednesday, and this time we're again back doing the live on our Plandor channel. And then, of course, sharing the recording on the different podcast platforms. We're again back live in the morning, as usual, and ready to discuss a very interesting topic. And this topic is ultimately turning data into leadership clarity with the power of decision support and business intelligence. And Jores, I'll give you the microphone and the stage so you can share what decision support and business intelligence actually mean for small businesses.
Thank you, Anna. It's interesting because back in the mid 2000s, when we were building systems, they were called DSS, decision support systems. They haven't been called those systems for a long time because the fancier the name, the more they can charge, right? And then by 2008, 2009, it turned into business intelligence. And then, now it's all AI, advanced analytics, insights, blah, blah. So basically, decision support is about using systems and tools to help you make the informed decision. It enhances your gut feeling. You can't just run a business based on your gut feeling. Yes, we talked about this a while back. It's important to have the gut feeling and a judgment, but what decision support systems do, they help you and make sure that your gut feeling is right, actually, and you are making the right decision. And business intelligence is the process of collecting, organizing, analyzing all that data, and then you can put it all together and get insights out of it. And again, these are insights that you can act on, you can make decisions based on. So this is the difference. Now, they have wrapped this around in AI and automation and all that stuff today, but the essence of it is having the right data at the right time for the function that you're trying to complete, whether it's hiring, pricing, marketing, delivery, whatever it is at that time. And this is the two important things. The right data. The right data means you have the correct source and you can trust the data. It's not garbage. And at the right time. The right timing is very important. And I've interviewed so many people. They said, oh, if I had that data at this time, I can do A, B, C, and D. I can increase efficiency by 3%. And these things can easily be quantifiable into dollars and cents. But the right data, trusted data at the right time to support you in your decision making. It doesn't get simpler than that. And it's not easy to do it, but to me, it's quite simple. And you just have to have the right sources for you to help you make those decisions.
And what I want to add is that it's not about enterprise software, expensive analytic tools and teams and things like this. Like you said, right data in the right place, like at the right time, that support your decisions as the business owner and the business leader. This is it. This is what it's all about. And you have probably heard these terms, and chances are that you are already using in one way or another dashboards, KPIs, and reporting to help you make decisions in at least one area of your business, right? And these are all tools, like the dashboards, the KPIs, the reporting. These are all tools that bring your business intelligence to life. And I want to emphasize that the idea of these tools is that they give you visibility, they give you the insight so you can take action. It's not just having data for the sake of having data. So, Joris, if we want to just quickly talk about this, so I know people like you probably know as a business owner, you know what KPI is, for example, but just for the sake of someone might not know, right? So, in case you're wondering what it is, KPI is a key performance indicator, and this is a number that helps you measure success in a specific area of your business. And we've mentioned in one of the first episodes, I think, that we actually did, we mentioned the 4 KPIs that we have in our framework for business owners specifically, right? Revenue is one of them, customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction, these are 2 others, and business impact. So these are key performance indicators, the KPIs. And again, you can also, in addition to revenue, you can think churn rate, for example. Client lifetime value, something we discussed a couple of weeks ago, I think. Project margins, all these kind of things can be considered key performance indicators for different businesses in different areas of your business. So this is the first term, like KPI. Jores, you want to take over and talk about the dashboards and the reporting?
Yeah, there's a bit of a confusion between reports and dashboards. So basically, dashboard is where you summarize all of these KPIs in one place. Very, very high level, one number, one digit, one percentage, but you summarize it. You can fit a number of areas of reporting in that dashboard, for example, whether it's quality, whether it's safety, whether it's hours, whether it's inventory, whatever it is. Dashboard is where you summarize all of these KPIs, where you can, in one visualization, you can see all your KPIs that for you start your day and you look at all your KPIs yesterday and you saying, how can I improve this part? I'm still on track on this part. And they're also measured against a certain like measures, like for whatever your industry is, right? So you can say, well, how do you judge your KPIs, right? You need to be able to measure them against a certain standard. So that's what dashboards are. And reporting is just simply using that information to reflect, analyze trends, and plan what's next. It's the more detailed. And sometimes you want to look at those KPIs and say, well, how did this KPI come? Where is the data? You drill through those details of that KPI in a report where you can see more of the data. So, yeah.
So with reporting, sometimes you might have like weekly, monthly, quarterly reports, right? That show you for that specific period, either like a snapshot at end of period or throughout, okay, weekly report, like what did you see during this week, right? So it gives you a little bit more details. And ultimately these things, like the KPIs, the dashboards, the reports that you have, they are, if you imagine yourself as being a Star Wars, Star Trek, whichever one you prefer, like a pilot in the cockpit, right? You're the one who is at the helm of the Enterprise, or I don't remember the Star Wars ones. I know the Death Star was the dead one, but anyway, these are your tools in the cockpit that, like we said, help you make decisions, timely decisions, that yes, in your gut, and there's something that tells you there's something going on, and these KPIs, dashboards, reports, they validate this for you, they verify this for you, and they might even give you actually insights that you didn't even think about, right? To help you navigate your business, whether it's a growth or like maintaining things, whatever stage of your business you are, they help you maintain your business, grow your business with more clarity, instead of running it by just throwing the spaghetti and seeing what happens and getting overwhelmed and working 60, 80 hours a week, right? And I think it's a good point actually to mention something. Now, we live in a world of data. And especially depending on what business you have, marketing applies to everyone. And we talked about marketing yesterday. Like when you are on any of the social platforms, like with marketing, you have so many things you can look at. Impressions, clicks, and when you do ads, right? Cost per click, cost per impression, it's just a sea of data. And like with manufacturing nowadays, right? Jores, you've been on manufacturing floors where the amount of data and the different data points that now we can collect for every single machine So it's really important as we are having this conversation about decision support systems and decision support and business insights, it's really important to touch upon that idea that most of the data out there, especially for you as the business owner, is noise. It's not insight. So, Jores, with your expertise, take it over as well. I'm curious to hear your thoughts and ideas and how we can think about insight and how we can figure out, oh, this is noise.
Yeah, you touched upon a very interesting point. You said you don't need these expensive enterprise tools, and this is what we repeated this so many times. You don't start with tools. You don't start with tech. You start with your business. Start your process. What is it that you are doing today? Then you take that process and you say, what data do I need for me to uh, have understand this better or make the right decision. Then you go into the tools. And so, anyways, I just wanted to mention that you always start with the process. And there's a very fine line between insight and noise, and that's distinguished by context. Data without context is noise. Like I have the statistics for I don't know my clamps press clamp opens and closes. The open and close differential is 3 seconds. Oh, okay, and I have 20 presses uh, on the plant floor. So what does that mean? Well, okay, 3 seconds or 30 seconds. What do I care? But when you put that in context, where you know the average should be 2 seconds or 1 second, then that becomes insight because you're saying, oh, I have 20 presses on average, they're closing 3 seconds too long. That reduces my productivity, that increases my power consumption, that increases wear and tear, and I may be getting approached to a service disaster. So context is very important, right? Sales data. You have sales data for a whole week. What does that mean? But when you add context, when you compare that sales data based on to your targets, then it becomes meaningful. And that's the distinguishing factor between insight and noise.
There, yeah, and like with the sales data, if you add the conversion rate to it as well, right? Not just the target, but also conversion rate. And then you also add the source where your leads are coming from. Like you add that breakdown, right? It gives you even more insight. And this is where, like, as you were talking about these things, this is where again, like, your dashboard, right? Your dashboard, drilling down through your dashboard, your reports. This is where they can be so powerful in showing you this on a dashboard when you have the sales data for the week plus the target. Like with the target, you actually have that. You know how you can have it in red, in green, in yellow, right? Like you can see. Where it is. Is it on target or above target? Is it below target, but like kind of yellowish, or is it like really below target in red? And then you can again click and see what's going on, see some other things. So um, ultimately, when we talk about insight, it's all about making a better decision, right? So this is why you need the data to help you make better decisions. And make better decisions related to what you're currently working on, to what you're currently improving. Because if it's insightful but something that you're not focusing on right now, then I would classify it as noise as well. And I know that our monkey brains are like, oh, this is a number, I need to keep a track of it. But like, if you're not currently focusing on these things, like, don't, like, especially as the business owner, let someone else monitor this thing, right? But especially as the business owner, it's so important to really focus on the insight, so the data in context, right? That help you to make the better decisions as the business owner and connect to whatever you're currently actively working on to improve. Otherwise, it's really noise.
Yep. You mentioned we have a lot of data, which we do, and we don't need, truly, we don't need more data. What we need is more useful data. It's a very distinguishing factor between data and useful data. You can grab all the statistics in the world from your business. You can spend months and years doing that, but if it doesn't pertain to your decision making, your daily functions, and it doesn't help you with those decisions, improve and make better decisions, it's just data. It's costing you money, and data is expensive. Data is expensive to extract. Data is expensive to store, and data is expensive to analyze. So you need to really make sure that the data that you're capturing, the data you're using, is have an ROI on it. Literally, you need to attach an ROI. Help you increase revenue, help you increase efficiency, which is cost avoidance, etc., etc. So the examples are endless, but the right data, right time, the right decision.
Which brings us very well to the last part of the conversation today, how to actually set up this thing, right? So like you were saying, you don't need all the data in the world. So identify, and again, start with the business, right? Start with where you are right now as the business owner and identify recurring decisions that you can start with one or go up to three, I would say. Like, so 1 to 3, maximum 3 decisions that as the business owner, like no one else can do this, right? Like you are the one doing this as the business owner that you might need to make every single week or every single month, right? Something related to hiring, something related to pricing, maybe marketing, sales. Like identify like what are 1 to 3 decisions that are recurring, like that you need to keep on making these decisions weekly, monthly, even daily, right? Identify these, and then once you identify these, then the second step would be to really think about what you really need to decide with more confidence. The specific data points that will really help you, right, to decide with more confidence. And like with sales, maybe client acquisition cost is something that you need. The lifetime value, which we discussed, as I said, in an episode a few weeks ago. So really think about like what are the key data points that you need to make better decisions. Put it in context, right? Because we were talking inside is in context, data in context. So think about it. And then you can build a simple dashboard, right? And this can be done even Excel, Google Sheet, and your CRM probably has reporting capabilities and dashboard capabilities. But even a Google spreadsheet or like an Excel spreadsheet, nowadays you can have the data there and you can easily create pivot tables, you can create diagrams, things like this. So build a simple dashboard and start using it weekly, right? Like at least weekly, if it's something that you need to do weekly. If it's daily, then you can start using it daily, but most likely it would be something that you want to review and update every week and build a habit out of it, right? You can put it in your calendar and you can start with even like 10, 15 minutes. Put 15 minutes in your calendar every week to review and reflect on this. It can be the beginning of the week, the end of the week, whatever works for you. And this way you can start developing in general that habit of stopping, pausing for a second from the day-to-day operations and looking at your dashboard to think strategically, right? To make the decisions that you as the business owner can only make and no one else in your team can make. Anything to add, Jores?
I think you actually nailed it. I think we're again, one bonus tip I can share with the team is to make sure your team also knows about this. I don't know if it's very important because it brings alignment, right? What are you tracking? Why are you tracking? Sometimes people even start getting suspicious on why you're tracking the data. And for you to be transparent about it and what you're using the data for, I think it's very important for your business and your team.
Oh yeah, definitely with being transparent with your team and the why, like why are you tracking? Because it really defines what the data elements you need and helps with making sure that you have everything you need to make good decisions. So this, after you listen to this episode and re-listen to this episode, which I highly recommend, pick one decision you want to improve, right? And go through the process. Think about like what data you need to be able to make the better decisions in this area, and take one small step towards building that dashboard or updating it. Like you might already have a dashboard or report or a system, and you might actually want to simplify. Sometimes, like especially when you have dashboards, reports, what we might need to do is actually simplify, actually get rid of the noise. So maybe you are at a place where you already have things, but they're too many, too much. So for you, maybe the step is that, you know what, I don't need 90% of these things. Let me get rid of them and really focus on the 10% that I need. So take a look, like, wherever you are. Like if you are starting, see how you can start tracking things. If you already track, but it's too much, simplify. Simplify. And yeah, I think this is it for today. And as usual, if you are not subscribed to the podcast yet, subscribe, so this way you don't miss an episode. And we'll be back tomorrow with another insightful conversation, continuing with tomorrow is all about emerging technology.
Oh, yes, the AI is coming. Gonna replace us all. That was funny. The other day, I was watching a Tigers game, and one of the Tigers pitchers pitched the wrong pitch, and the batter hit it from the Giants. Somebody from behind me screamed, "Oh, don't worry, computers will replace him next year." And I'm like, "Go AI Rodriguez." I don't think a lot of people caught the joke, but that's funny. Emerging, yeah, tech. It's all about AI now. I think I'm waiting for the bubble to burst, and we go back into normal technology, use it the way it should be, and get away from this AI BS and bubble.
So tomorrow, join us tomorrow for us to burst some bubbles and curb the hype and all these kind of things. And yeah, thanks, Jores. Awesome conversation as usual, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, Anna.